Welcome back! Game 3 is in the books and Griffin are 1 win away from punching their ticket into LCK Summer Split. And Kaisa does a lot of damage.
She's one step away from joining the ban list, you'd have to imagine, for game number 4.
You know, that's what I said during the final. It never happened.
Outside chance it doesn't happen here, but hard to see how that comes to be. Wait and see what the choices are, and we can actually see from our vantage point that in game number 4, with side selection, MVP have chosen blue side again. So they feel that they can roll it on the blue side. And you have to think that if the Kai'Sa's not banned on red side, it's first pick Kaisa time. Does that mean the Viper Vayne comes to be as well?
We'll have to find out. Sounds exciting enough to me. Griffin, though, maybe they don't want to go that risky with the Vayne pick. They would love to just close this one out nice and neatly. Coaches in the booths, not going to be seeing any subs on either side to be expected here. See what MVP can piece together this time around. Blue side yet again. Third time out, only with a 30% win rate in this series.
The win rate on the Zac went down after game number 3 was first pick Zac, and that was the first Zac that had lost. Griffin had been known to flex Achilles. They had a Medjai's Galio in their second win yesterday, 2 days ago, I should say, in the first round. I could definitely see them pulling out another big one, and we've had the Lucian top, we've had the Talon blind pick. Feels like we've been spoiled for choice with some of the picks in this series, and yet the ones around the corner like the Yasuo haven't come out yet. Blue side, we've seen the Taliyah ban pretty frequently. Don't know if we're going to see a Taliyah ban this time out. Vladimir, that's been a staple. Seems like MVP don't feel like they can beat it as the game goes on. Second ban, they do stick with the Taliyah. See what the decision is here, because it might just be Swain versus Kaisa at first pick.
Could very well be Olaf here from the side of Griffin yet again. Do they just want to ban the Swain? Morgana will be the adjustment here from MVP, so maybe looking to take the Kaisa for themselves or force a ban out of Griffin on that pick.
And they're saying, well, if you're going to get a Kaisa, it's not going to be with Morg. It's going to be a first pick Swain as the price. Swain taken away as well. All right, feels like we are in obvious first pick Kaisa territory and MVP first pick Alistar. Well, Achilles left the booth, so we'll follow on here. I'll give you your best. I can do play-by-play probably, right? I've never had to do it before, but there's no Achilles. He hasn't picked up his headset. I'm not actually still sure he's around here, but we'll follow through here. Griffin first pick is going to be the Kaisa, because why wouldn't it be, you'd think? They're going to wait here. The producer has noticed that the mic has been removed. The producer's getting really mad. Come on, Achilles, he's getting mad. All right, he's coming back.
All right, here we are.
Good stuff. We got him back. We got him back. It just took the producer threatening his job. Thank you, producer. We're back into game number 4, pick and ban with a Kaisa in it. Sejuani going to be taken by Griffin.
Okay, well, Griffin already putting together a bit of a powerhouse duo here, locking these ones in. MVP just going to go back to the Zac, which failed them in game number 3. Beyond was not given an opportunity to really set up any plays.
Now, he was in the right spot many times, but it was about the execution, right? Those ganks went a little bit sideways. There's a lot of choices against the Kaisa. You don't have to go Caitlyn. We already mentioned Vayne as an option. One champion who hasn't really had safe laning phases anymore. Also, the Tristana is viable. They will take the Tristana. Here is an adjustment by MVP.
But is it a positive one? Is what we want to know, but we might not find out until we get in. And right now, Griffin is flashing a familiar pick with the Talon. Just instilling some fear into the hearts of the MVP players, but they'll go ahead and grab the Tahm Kench. They say, you know what, the Morgana's not available. We can't use the shield anymore, but at least we have the Devourer there to back up this powerhouse ADC.
Made sense. You usually see this adjustment when we haven't seen Morgana. We have seen the disengage support come out with the Kaisa. It's going to be a different look. They won't have the ability to proc the killer instinct through their support. But we already saw Viper doing all the hard work himself in some of those fights, so could return to that. Going through to the second round of picks and bans. Looking for solo lanes largely in this game. None taken in the first round after the Swain was banned away.
Well, Gangplank banned by MVP, so another adjustment stopping ADD from being able to lock that one up.
Some interesting blind picks so far in this series. The Karma priority could once again come through from Griffin. They took it away in the previous game. It could be selected again because the draft is still about Kai'Sa. Will MVP consider banning the Karma, even though it's been a pretty stock standard pick for them in the past?
We'll see. Griffin might just be happy to go ahead and wait for that last pick mid and take the Talon if the Karma is snatched up by MVP.
Karma available if they want to take it. The Gangplank has already been banned away, so top lane could be a very different thing in this particular game number 4. All-important one for Griffin. They can put their name into LCK Summer with a victory here. Waiting for that final ban from Griffin. They will take the Gnar, so they now feel like they find a safe spot. It is Ultra Comfort from Sword, by far his most played. The Gangplank, that worked really well against him in game number 1. Gangplank gone, Camille gone. What is the extended bench for ADD?
Well, it's not much of an extension. It's just going to be a staple. Seeming like the Scion
Wait and see
coming through.
Wait and see if it is a mid lane Scion. Still possible, even though ADD, of course, our resident Scion for the longest time.
Could be.
Have seen one threat comps, and Stana is a hyper carry to try to bust through. Probably going to be top lane, though. Realistically, Ultra Comfort versus Ultra Comfort. What about the mid lane blind pick? Karma available.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm sure Griffin would love to tease them with, but,
well, are we going way into the past? We've seen almost no Corki in the best part of 2 months.
Yeah, not since the super heavy Galio priority coming in. Corki was picked into that. Do we see a Zed?
You know, the problem here is they do have 3 super tanks. So something like Talon is also looking deprioritized. But we've already been impressed with mid laners. Do they go Talon anyway? Riskier choice to go Talon in this game. Are we also into Corki? We really going and doing this? We might be Achilleos. We're not.
Okay. Now I'm sad. There wasn't really much setup for the Yasuo anyway. He would have to be very self-sufficient.
It was a very obvious Karma draft, not necessarily for the 1v1, but to get the Kai'Sa going. Seems like they're all on Viper bus this time, and yes, I know it's not the same Viper as North America, but this Viper could be going really far in the world. Achilleos, he's clearly super, super talented. He jumps on the Kai'Sa. They have much, much less synergy with the ability to apply that plasma. They do not have hard crowd control in the same swaths. In fact, Tahm Kench and Karma have almost none unless the full tether is going to register. But still, another shield for Viper could be enough to send them into LCK Summer.
Well, Griffin moving back over to the Karma. Hasn't been the kindest pick so far here. We'll see if they can turn their luck around. Rather just going to be running it yet again. No Morgana. Tahm Kench here into the bottom lane. Max taking the Alistar away from the Hens. But Kai'Sa yet again shines through and is in the war chest for Griffin. One more win is all that they need.
And this game requires more specifically from Viper. He doesn't have the team setup. He does have the shields. He doesn't have the ability to just one auto, have the rest of his team put down hard control and get the plasma down. We're going to have to see some Viper outplays. Certainly a game ripe for them. But if Pilot hits 3 or 4 items, Achilleos, it's a lot less sturdy a front line from Griffin for the Stana to roll through.
Well, MVP need to get this win. They need to take it to game number 5. Find that victory to re-qualify for LCK. Otherwise, Griffin just one more Nexus break. And they are in LCK Summer. Let's see if they can close it out or if MVP can extend this series. Well. Crowd has only gotten bigger as time goes on. Later and later here in Korea. More fans showing up this second to last day of the promotion tournament.
Wonder if they'll see history. Will they see Griffin win 15 best of 5s in a row? So 15 best of 3s in a row, a best of 5. So 15 best of series. And basically go through. Insane that might happen, but apparently if you win 16 series in a row, You go straight into the LCK,
You
Achilles.
probably deserve to be there, it turns out.
Why is Fnatic not here, then? They did it in 2015. We never got him.
We did not.
I feel hard done by.
You know, because
Imagine, we would have had Huni in the LCK. That'll never happen.
Yeah, never. Never at all. The NA import?
Well, he's an NA player now. Sadly, we've lost Huni. But we might gain Griffin. That could be a fun little thing to see. Already wondering what Griffin versus some other teams look like. Again, the word around the LCK. You talk to the Challengers casters, they were like, Griffin, Griffin, Griffin. And that, makes sense. They're hyped. They're watching it up close. That's what it usually is like. But the other thing for me has been pro players I've talked to saying, well, I think it's going to be Griffin and another team. That's what they say about the promotion tournament. They've been scrimming some of the best teams in Korea for a long time because it turns out when you're undefeated in Challenger, people get curious and want to play against you. You don't have the names that they can already evaluate. It wasn't looking like the hype was going to be there in game number 1. That was comfortable stuff for MVP. And while Griffin isn't yet inked into LCK Summer, they still have the chance to beat Kongdu in a couple of days if this doesn't work, and they're looking a level above Kongdu.
Yes, absolutely. Again, I think that for both of these teams, obviously qualifying in straight away is the best possible option and scenario for them. But if they do have to play that best of 5 versus Kongdu, you can still go into that feeling decently confident.
Oh, yeah.
So
They've beaten them already.
Because like you said, you win 15 best of series in a row, you probably deserve to be in LCK. You lose as many as Kongdu did in a row, you probably deserve to not be.
Yeah, I take that point. They did finally snap their losing streak at 15. That's the magic number, apparently. No more best of 3s for Griffin to play.
I would hate to see them in a casino.
That's true. They would, yeah. Unless they're doubling down and have a huge bankroll, they're going to be in a really, really bad spot. But on the flip side, we've talked about the chat before, gambling is also illegal for Koreans.
It's true, but we can go whenever we want.
That is the weirdest double standard, but I guess they can tax us and make money, so that makes sense.
That's true.
So foreigners, if you show your passport or foreign registration card, you can go, but so there are casinos here. Koreans can't go as mid lane.
Good burst of damage there onto Ian. Got to use the Valkyrie to get himself out to safety, but rather going to be pretty low on mana.
Still on patch 8.6. I know 8.8 is live, so this is a bit in the past. No Doran's changes, no mana changes. So are just fine in the game right now as Ian bringing back the Corki out of nowhere. Again, no Corki for a very extended time period in LCK. It might have even been 8.4, let alone 8.5.
It's been a while. It certainly has. And like you said, if it wasn't so many tanks on the side of MVP, maybe we would have gotten that Talon, the Yasuo, or even the Zed, which was actually the pick that Ian brought out some time ago. Zed into Corki to shut down what was then a very oppressive pick in the mid lane.
Yon's going to fall super low here.
He is going to get spotted out.
Yep, and he has to leave.
And he is going to have to flash out. Tarzan can just go ahead, pick the Ocean Drake if he wants to, but the roam up from the Alistar says no, so he's just going to let this releash.
We had the skill bar to confirm there was 14 seconds on the Elastic Slingshot, so only flash was an exit, and the Bloblets would have continued to get killed, so had to get out there. Looks a bit silly, feels a bit silly, but was trying to help out the lanes with that early Ocean Drake. Problem with the Sion, of course, being there is that then Zed can't side lane against Sion and have kill pressure, so if it was a top laner that Zed could potentially kill, I think we might have seen it.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Yasuo or the Zed for different reasons. Fast forward into this game. I imagine we're not going to see Banner of Command early from the Karma. It is still a lot of magic damage on Corki.
Well, that's going to be the engage here. Headbutt back in on the Lehens as they try to target him down. Pops the shield, but he's got that satchel charge in. Flashes away. Heal comes down, but the leap forward here from Violet. They're going to try to turn this one around. Lehens, he's still alive. He's still going to be in the fight and just offer up those tongue lashes. Beyond gets popped. Might have to see the TP out from AD to keep him alive, and that's exactly what's going to happen. It will be Griffin peeling back. TP's canceled. Can't find the lockdown though, so Beyond will be able to go ahead and limp his way out of here, but great turnaround, great arrival from Tarzan to stop that first blood from coming through.
And Achilles, it's an outrageous amount of trading up on the summoners. Look what was used by MVP. Double teleport, and all 4 summoners in bot lane had to be used to make it an exchange for just Lehens using flash and exhaust. Insane trade up. Any return ganks in the next 4 to 5 minutes. you're going to come up trumps. That's a
Wonderful
good thing
stuff
for
here.
this contest.
But there's no Talia in the game.
It's true. The walls, that is not available.
No.
But
Just don't feel like paying for it.
no.
Just ban it away. Griffin, though, still going to be edging out a very slight little lead, but only about 400 separating at the moment. There's going to be some very minute CS differences that are contributing to that.
A lot of wave control here for Kai'Sa. Didn't go Doran's ring, but still, you're just kind of able to cue the wave and trim it. You're not going to have to worry about taking a million auto attacks from a Caitlyn. China only going to get 1 or 2 in. Able to turn around very easily is Viper.
Hem's just sitting in the bush, looking for somebody to slow up. In the meantime, Beyond still trying to stay proactive. Sees this Mega Gnar coming through.
Guys are wondering, Sion's actually a pretty big winning lane against Gnar early. It doesn't sound like it because it's melee versus range, but he's so damn tanky and has a lot of long-range harass that actually able to win the lane. It takes a couple of items, and even then, a couple of kills go to Sion, and you just never kill him as Gnar, so
Yeah.
it's a pretty good matchup for the Gnar. One that
Potion keeps him top, then he's got plenty of damage.
I'm sure AD and Sword have both played this matchup in the last 6 months hundreds of times, so
Yeah.
definitely both very well aware of it, as Sion and Gnar one tricks respectively.
So we're talking about earlier, before we had that gank down in the bottom lane, and I want to see if you actually have the answer to this, because you're talking about a top laner that Zed could kill or try to duel with.
Gank
And I was
back.
thinking, what if the Camille came back through? What happens if you try to use your R to jump back to your shadow if you have the Hextech ultimatum on you? Where do you go?
I would assume you get shorted. I think you do move to the edge of the wall, but you get short. I don't believe you return. There's only... trying to think, there's one interaction that does work there, but in general, it is nothing.
I'm assuming it's something kind of similar to the hero's entrance on the Galio.
I was feeling frisky and was playing Bard in solo queue and had a great magical entrance where I was interrupted mid-magical entrance by the Hextech ultimatum, and I went through it and came back. And then I went through it again and died. So, you know, it wasn't the most magical time. I won't tell my kid bedtime stories around it, but yeah, it's pretty definitive, the Hextech ultimatum.
It's pretty great.
It wasn't that great. I lost the game, Achilles. Thanks, you know. I could use some support over here. I'm trying to gain the elo. Hashtag get that LP.
You're at least significantly higher up than me, so share some of that LP with me.
Tough life in Korean solo queue, but we make it through one win at a time.
Or attempt to.
Oh no, it's
Oh
back.
dear.
Well, at least the location audio gets it out of the screen for a moment.
Oh man. Just imagine this in 7.1. Surround sound stereo. Amazing.
Viper's decided he's Brawl in this series. Going to be going for the Death's Dance rush again. This time, it's not quite the Jhin, who's kind of defenseless when you
Oh, it fixed. Okay.
ult on. With the Tristana, you can ult them to further range away, and you can disengage as well with the rocket jump, so harder to pull off the Death's Dance all in, but he's actually also gone for press the attack, and we see this against more tanky lineups. Prey changed his keystone on that 7 tank game to go for the press the attack to have the damage amp. That is the decision by Viper in game number 4.
Tarzan coming up towards the top side. I think he just maybe missed that control ward. Chilling in the brush. Now he's spotted out rather, here onto this ward by the Krugs. Tarzan.
Tarzan did miss it last time. Now he's putting down
Oh,
vision
okay,
first.
there you go.
He's putting down vision of the Rift Herald
Okay,
first.
being responsible. I can appreciate
The
that.
full thought there is, there's a control ward on my red. Why would you put that one down? Are they trying to solo the Rift Herald early and know where I am? So that's why he did all the extra stuff that looked a bit unnecessary. But I appreciate the attention to detail from Tarzan.
Take 2. Looking for the Ocean Drake. Scuttle Crab not going to be spotting Beyond out, but the ping still comes down.
His
So
flash is up, by the way.
they have an idea, and maybe he'll just use it again to escape out of the back of the pit. Max is here to back him up, though.
The least
Corky
helpful
nearby as
champion
well.
in the game for killing a Drake, Alistair.
You know,
He doesn't use any of his abilities on the Drake. It's not actually helpful.
they'll spot this out. Should still be able to take it here in time by MVP. Spike comes down, but now they're looking for the fight. Max gonna go low, but so is Rather. He has the flash away, still gets stunned up, but still will be alive, skirting around the outside of the fight. As the shields to offer up, Sword takes that short hop as AD tries to lock him in with the ultimate. Well, be able to find anything. No one dies yet again.
I'm very surprised that ADD's ultimate wasn't hitbox range of the Gnar in that particular case. You'll feel hard done by. That didn't happen there because it was almost zero range. There was two champions basically on top of each other. Here's the re-engage.
That's going to be the Glacial Prison down in onto the Scion. ADD getting melted. Sword wanting that final hit to maybe try to chunk him out with the Hyper Procs. Can't get the slow, though, with the Boomerang. And against it all, ADD will walk away with his life. Pilot just has to invest the heal.
No one dies that time around either. In the mid lane, Rather walks up.
Doesn't have the tether available. Valkyrie comes out anyway.
Yeah, cooldowns.
And makes it out.
Cooldown's working against him that time. We'll move back to the bot lane. All right, deep breaths taken. The brawling has happened, but no kill registered in the first 12 minutes. We had a couple of feisty games. Not this time. What does it mean going on is the question I think a lot of people always ask about the LCK, because we do have the longest average game time of any region. MVP have a true front line, and Griffin's a bit more situational. Now, I feel like in mid-game, the Karma Shields might be enough to put Griffin in a good spot if they can get Viper's damage items online. The most important thing by far for Griffin, and you know this when you have a Karma mid lane, is where the AD carries farm and just in general gold is at. There will be a 2-item spike for Viper, whichever build he goes. Well, I think they'll be very competitive. But MVP's frontline is so robust that if those items aren't there, chance that there just will be no damage on the side of Griffin.
Bit of a collapse down towards the mid lane there. Ian starts cheating his way through, but everyone just going to go ahead and peel back. They'll find the opening that they're looking for.
No vision line for Griffin at all. A couple of defensive control wards to give the spotting on Corki or someone else coming over just behind the bot lane outer turret, but otherwise very, very good vision coming out from the side of MVP. Sana will have that mid-game hump in the same time when Kai'Sa is ready to go, and that will be the struggle.
They have the wards in the inventory, though, so they're going to be looking to lay them down soon. 2 were invested into the brush there by the red bot turret.
Now, that's because on both sides, because you want to have the ability to spot someone coming over, because it's very common to have one defensive control ward in the brush. Again, what it all means is still to be decided. And again, like we talked about those timings, there is also that Tristana timing where she might just be able to put paid to any attempt at frontlining by Griffin, but that's later than the Kai'Sa. And also, we're really not sure how to evaluate Kai'Sa at 4 items versus Tristana at 4 items, just because of Kai'Sa's ability to reposition so instantly and just a damn sheer damage output on patch 8.6.
Classic slingshot over towards the mid, but the ward spots out Tarzan. So Theon gonna think better of that one.
Take a deep breath, we reassess. MVP also backing away, waiting for the next crack to move, and it turns out it's Lehens.
Gonna pull Lehens in, jumps over the side here with the kidnap. But Ian's like, well, you took him away from my damage, but now Pilot's gonna be able to arrive. Lehens, he's gonna go down. Pops the shield, just buying some more time, but it's inevitable. Pilot gonna be picking up that kill. Finds it first blood over to MVP.
Can even give it to exactly who they want to. Lehens went on a walk, he had no friends, he had no advanced vision. Corki happened to be roaming bot at the same time, and he was done. Straight up mistake from Lehens will give over that first blood, and between that and the Ocean Drake, there are small advantages, but they are MVP advantages in this all-important game number 4.
Another Ocean on the way in a minute 45. Yeah, just getting the tethers to actually connect onto that Corki. Nigh impossible, given the Valkyrie. Decent amount of damage going to be coming through in onto the turret. Viper would love to clear out this wave. Has the Abyssal Voyage coming in from Lehens to help him. So Beyond just going to say, all right.
He also has the Death Stance complete, so diving him is even trickier. It's actually very, very difficult to kill him between Flash Heal and the damage reduction, and I guess you would call it 80 Spell Vamp off of the Q that comes through with that Death Stance. So in general, safer than it even first appeared, and just the ultimate being used there by Lehens to get back into lane. Top lane, as we mentioned, you do need 2 items, and then you don't always have the lane priority as Gnar. It's a good matchup for Sion, so things very even top side.
Yeah, just been a bit back and forth. Sword getting a very slight little lead. Still working for that first item. So ways away still for the Black Cleaver. Not sure how much he has in the inventory at the moment.
Sort of game where if you're MVP, you say, well, this is a lot more comfortable, nothing explosive. You just try to do what Beyond was trying to do at 4 minutes and stack the Drakes and have that be the unique variable between the two teams. Is the lane ward put down earlier getting a lot of value?
Yep. So Beyond get gated back, had the control ward in there as well, but now they're going to be jumping through looking for Lehens yet again. Goes Golden to deny the elastic slingshot damage. Get him with a stretching strike. In the meantime, Sword trading up against ADD in the top lane.
And didn't have to use his flash because of that, and gives time for Sejuani to be there for the counter gank.
Pretty close. Little damage dealt here so far. Ocean Drake coming up. They get the Scuttle Crab. MVP just going to start this one up immediately.
Tarzan just pops in, trying to buy time. Gnar was backing. Mega Gnar is down, so wouldn't be much of a useful champion if he was teleport in.
And Max comes back around, putting that headbutt pulverize. As Beyond goes low, Ocean Drake just whittling away at him. So it seems like they're just going to abandon this one. And Griffin more than happy to step in, equalize the Drakes at least as they pick up their own Ocean.
There isn't actually a good teleport ward here either, so despite the fact that it was used, does end up being the Ocean take. Too punishing there and answering Ocean now for Griffin.
Infernal going to be next. And maybe then we'll see things start heating up, not really a pun intended. As we maybe get a fight around that objective about 23 minutes into the game.
Probably going to be 2-item Kai'Sa with an Ardent Sensor then as well. So the go time will be announced to Kilios. It looks like Viper's taking damage, but
he's not.
Not with that stance, no. Happy wave clear in mid. I mentioned it yesterday again. I know I'm referring to that a lot. Okay, hold the point.
But pulverize here. Viper gonna get jumped on. This time he actually is taking damage. Lockup comes through. Lehens flashing away. We'll spit him out and see just how low he is. Still has the heal should he need it. We'll just hold on to that one for now as Griffin tries to defend this turret.
Tarzan coming from the enemy jungle wasn't spotted, but I believe they were in vision of each other just then. I was going to mention that Karma's ability to really take over a game early on with her early power and shields and speed. That was a hard thing to say. I always kind of underrate just how strong Karma is mid-game. And with Kai'Sa's strength being undeniable, I think we are close to a very exciting fight.
Another back coming through, so maybe this will shed some light onto what Viper's build's going to be. We'll see the pickaxe and the Berserker Greaves there.
An item into the Rage Blade because the pickaxe gives you the 100 AD, allows you access to your Q evolve, and then of course Rage Blade, a must-buy on Kai'Sa, especially now that it's 300 gold cheaper on patch 8.6 than it is on the line.
Hooray for that. Kai'Sa mains rejoice.
Every Rage Blade champion rejoice.
That too.
Which is basically every champion.
Unless you're Jin.
True.
In this.
And only because he's not allowed to.
Yes. But pulverized in on the Lehens yet again. He's going to get slowed up. Beyond now shows himself. Viper kites back. So just the slightest bit of damage there.
Notice that Radha doesn't have teleport. They don't have priority over the bot lane river, so risky for him to walk up.
Max looking for the play. Deep dive in from Beyond. Finds two. Kidnaps him back, but doesn't drag him out from underneath the turret. Lehens pops the shield. Beyond flashes away, but still gets locked up. Tarzan into the front line. Looking to get the stun in onto Pilot. Can't find it. Killer Instinct out from Viper. Pilot goes low. Has to flash. The heal's already down. Rather finds it. Locks him in. And that's going to be a double kill delivered over to Viper. He does it again with the Kai'Sa pick. And now Griffin are going to be looking to break open the turrets.
Understand what MVP want to do, but the execution let them down. They need to gatekeep Karma out of the fight. The moment she got in there, it didn't matter if Corki had damage. The utility for full health Viper to chase down kills would be too easy. MVP started the dive. They didn't have an exit plan, and when you don't have an exit plan, the sinking feeling begins.
3-1 now. We'll go ahead and take a look at this replay. Just way too far, way too much commitment from the side of MVP.
But if Corki is just auto-attacking Karma the entire time, it's probably okay. The problem is Karma gets in, is able to be the utility, allows the Viper, I should say, to actually fully commit with the ultimate there. Can walk in, can flash, can keep going. That is just how Kai'Sa works, and unfortunately, they allowed Viper too much rope, and they hung themselves in the end.
They really did. Cathian Rain. ripping them apart there for the killing blows. And now a gold lead starts to form for Griffin. Viper up towards the top side. Rage Blade is done.
Yeah, the bit of a Rage Blade became all of a Rage Blade, and working towards enough attack speed to get the E evolved as well.
Well, Baron's on the Rift. We're just a couple minutes away from the Infernal as well.
People got trolled by scrims in the last week and a half a lot, Achilleos, because the constant word from FLICKR's coaching staff, from Gorilla's interviews, I'm sure here is, well, we could beat the Kai'Sa in scrims, and that clearly was happening. If you think about why that is, why is it that you could beat the Kai'Sa in scrims?
Because they didn't want Riot to nerf it. So
well,
they outwardly said that, yeah, it's beatable.
I'm sure you could put the tinfoil hat and say, oh, well, because everyone was throwing to show her true potential.
Exactly. Well, that's going to be Viper getting jumped on, but the Devourer is there to deny the follow-up. So he's fine, and you continue your point. Oh, God.
Scrims are shorter, Achilleos, and it's these late-game team fights where Kai'Sas are taking over. It's the heavy tank comps that we see. Not as much today, but over the course of most of the Kai'Sa games. I think those just weren't coming up in scrims a lot, and just the game state of being longer games in competitive play is biasing more power towards the Kai'Sa, and that's why we've seen so many Kai'Sas 35 minutes on just wins games alone.
I just, I didn't get to cast the final. I was watching live in Busan, but I feel like I kind of have a piece of it here with me now.
I mean, we're lucky that you stuck around. You did drop your headset during the pick ban.
I thought you were messing with me when you said that they were asking for me to put the headset back on.
They were. They were actually doing that, and I was messing with you.
I heard it at the end, but I thought that you were just joking around.
I was ready to go, man.
Making it funny for the chat.
I'm here for all the games. What difference does solo cast, Achilleos? I'm ready to pop off.
Well,
if this wasn't such an important game, I might just take play-by-play from you.
That's fine. I'll be the analyst.
No one wants
that. That's the Papa that I missed. Well, turret goes down in mid despite the massive amount of damage pushed forward there onto Rather. Who needs health when you have shields?
A Scion Ode. Well,
Cowards.
He gets a bit of both. So he keeps going forward as they're trying to find something on the map. Lehens looks to be going topside. That's defensive ultimate.
Just trying to keep themselves in the game here. Keep as many turrets as they possibly can. As MVP have not been able to gain any so far.
I think we just saw the quest cashed in for Tarzan. Couldn't tell 100%, but I think he just put down his first ward. Just at the back of the pit.
First ward of the game. The whole time.
Noob. Call this competitive play.
What a bad job.
2 items.
It seriously is great. I know I already tweeted about it. We talked about it, but the fact that we maybe, right now, it's looking highly likely are going to have Tarzan and Mowgli.
Oh, man.
It's just, the memes write themselves. Create themselves, whatever.
It's one of those things where I do wonder how many people know who Mowgli is, because I guess the Jungle Book came out again, so maybe that reminded people.
Yeah, there was John Favreau made it. He made the updated version.
I actually had a chat with Max after the cast. Max as in Atlas, not as a player. After the cast the other day, and I was trying to think, when did the Jungle Book cartoon movie that I watched when I was a kid come out? And in my head, I was like, oh, 96, around there. Then I was like, wait, no, it was before Lion King. I know that's 94, 92. The movie came out in 1967, Achilleos.
It's really old.
It's 51 years old.
It's nuts.
So that's why if there hadn't have been the updates, you can't really blame people for not knowing.
That's true.
But Mowgli is a great jungler name, and Tarzan's up there as well.
It is. It is.
What about if one jungler is making the ganks and the other jungler's slightly too late? Mowgli's chasing Tarzan in the jungle. What a great statement to say.
And then we can get somebody named George. We can bring back our old translator.
Is he going to be a jungler?
George of the Jungle. It'd be great.
Yeah. And he's playing Rumble in the jungle.
Oh,
I think
boy.
science has gone too far.
That would be too much. We can't have the trifecta of junglers.
Kind of only have a duo of junglers when it comes to the top tier in Korea. We are all about our peanut and score.
Yeah, we'll have to settle for them.
They're pretty good, And Tarzan, I'm excited to see when he's got a full season of LCK scrims and also just getting more games under his belt, because this guy has been hyped for a long time. He was top of my laundry list for junglers to join SKT on the Challenger Series over the course of the off-season. You could see in Kesper Cup he's very talented and has been top of solo queue as well. But I'm all for these 5 new players to be promoted with no LCK experience and mess up some falls. And while I'm not ready to say they're going to be top 5 or anything like that, you can tell from their rallying calls and CV Max's pre-game interviews, he keeps saying, yeah, we're just here to win. Yeah, this is just another victory.
Yeah.
They very much are approaching it like they'll be an instant contender.
Well, so far, so good. We can ignore game 1. That was a completely different MVP showing up. And the Swain in mid lane for Ian was just monstrous. Hasn't been able to get his hands on that. Hasn't really looked the same since. Sword now, building for lanes, got the Frozen Mallet ready to go.
Doesn't really mean all that much, though, as we're seeing from these traits. Now, Pilot has 3 items. Kai'Sa has 3 items. We're conditioned to think Tristana's online, but we know recently how strong the Kai'Sa is. And guess what? Kai'Sa's got a Death Cap and an Ardent Sensor from his Karma. So I think that the equation is definitely still on the side of the Kai'Sa, who's ready to go. Question is, can Griffin actually get a team fight? Because for now, it's been a bit of a farming phase as we talk about old movies.
There's plenty of good ones to talk about.
And you know very well that I've watched very few of them.
Yes, that's true. Maybe if they're Disney ones. It seems like that's a bit of your forte.
Turns out I had a childhood, so
Yeah.
I watched all the Disney movies.
I don't know. I thought you were timeless. You were created in a lab.
I was born a papa.
You were awoken when you were 18 years old. You didn't
Could
know a
be.
life before that moment. This is just going to be your good old wet noodle fight. Turret goes down in top, and ADD calls him a coward.
Some nice drifting though. Didn't hit the wall. Would have been enough to disengage him.
Not
Still,
bad.
But I mean, if you just describe what happened on the screen, the Gnar got the Scion to disengage, and Griffin got a turret top side. So map control further and further to the side of Griffin. In the last team fight, I was total damaged out. I'll apologize. But predictably,
32,000 the last team
yeah,
fight.
woo, 12,000 over the course of the game for Viper, and with the Karma Shield and the reposition, the fight's going to be long. He's got the damage amp, remember, on the press the attack. Feels like he's ready to go, Achilles. Feels like Viper is ready to send his squad into LCK Summer.
That's what he's looking for. Killer Instinct. Haven't seen it used here a little bit. Just waiting for the right moment. He can dash into the back and just assassinate one of the members here of MVP.
Well, the Undead Man and the Yodels just keep roaring in the bot lane. And sadly, the rest of the map has not had endless action that we're waiting for. Oh look, Rather has decided that he's a Medjai's repeat offender and gone for the Mana Medjai's again. Apparently nothing better to buy on the Karma.
You know, whatever. Let's get some extra damage.
He's got a Doran's Ring. Buy a needlessly large rod.
He's trying to trade it back, trade some damage back against Ian. It's fine.
Well,
He's just got to get some more stacks.
apparently. Baron control is what Griffin needs to get. The double control, what we mentioned. Ooh, there's one of them.
Oh, look, they got it.
I love me some control wards. So one is down. The second one pieced together. There is one above as well to allow Karma to push up.
Got the Scuttle Crab there for a little bit longer. But things have slowed down a little bit. MVP not trying to give anything else over to Griffin. They find themselves down about 4,000 gold so far and still have yet to take a single turret.
We should also show to our viewers the AD carry changes where the 3 items have become BF Sword and the extra item for the Tristana is a QSS. So it's even more damage with the shields on the side of Viper.
Ooh. Starting to open up with a little bit of damage here. Looking for the lockdown onto Max, and he just gets melted. Ulti a bit too early, gets locked in. And now it's going to be a very deep Abyssal Voyage coming through. Devour immediately has to be used there on Tarzan to keep him alive. Kidnap comes in. They drag Sword into the back line, but he's still Gnar. He's still tanky. Can't kill him off. So far, the 1-for-0 here from Griffin. Wave a little ways away, so maybe not going to have the pressure to push down this turret. But now they're starting to cheat back over into the river, clear out some more vision around Baron.
Mid lane's going to be pushed out and the control wards will put down. So it's not actually going to be an instant start on the Baron from Griffin. They have a lot of Baron damage. Looking for the turn onto ADD.
He's going to flash away. Flash chase here from Tarzan. Gets a pass proc there. Locks him in. Rather going forward. Looking for the Tristana. Pilot jumps away. Doesn't have the flash or the heal, but seems like he'll make it out with his life. In the meantime, ADD tries to charge away, but it was going straight into the base of Griffin. He'll go down, and yet again, Griffin return over towards this Baron, and I don't think MVP can really afford to contest.
They got so many forward wards to see beyond if he ever walks up. They get the confirmation as he kills the zombie ward. Free Baron. They knew it was going to happen, but honestly, Achilles, there was no way to get in there.
I mean, it's just the worst feeling when you lose the Baron and you go pick up your second Ocean Drake 31 minutes into the game.
And it's going to take him about 31 minutes to kill the Ocean Drake.
That's true.
We're going to watch the replay. ADD has to walk up. It's not a mistake from him. He has his ultimate, but he doesn't actually have the space to jump away. And the moment he's stunned, time's over. And you see Viper, he's thinking pentakill already. He's feeling greedy. He doesn't want to bother to kill the Scion, but to eventually kill him is he actually flashed for that. All right, that seems unnecessary.
He's feeling that spicy about it. He's feeling good. There you go. It took the entire replay. He finally killed the Ocean Drake.
That was live, by the way. We didn't speed it up.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No slowdown, no speed up. That was just
going on in the background.
Just Zach killing Ocean Drake at 31 minutes things. Seeing the information in, well, long game or short game. Seems like Griffin ready to go. Is lane gank time.
I agree. Ian would rather have Viper on his team. Charge into the mid lane there from ADD, looking for the lockdown. Lehens flashes over the wall, spits Viper back out. Still has the death stance, trying to keep him alive.
Sword!
Now they're going to turn this one around. Sword coming in, goes for the stun. They lock down the L-Star yet again, and he will fall. Abyssal Voyage to cut off everybody else. Lehens comes around. They get the lock up there onto ADD. He's still going to be healthy, but now it's a pop onto Beyond here into the jungle. He'll come back up out of the bloblets, but he goes straight back down onto the ground. He's dead. Griffin find that 2 for 0. Now they're looking for the inhibitors.
They got so much damage. They have 2 minutes of Baron. The respawn times are pretty long. Game might not end here, but it'll be close.
But they're going to be looking for it. They dash forward. ADD trying to get the slam, but
is he a
just
tank?
Can't stay alive. He gets shredded. Viper finds another one. 8-1 now here on the board as the first inhibitor falls. One member going back, the rest of Griffin sticking around.
Teleport.
The TP is there.
They're going for the finish.
Rather, they're looking for it. Pilot and Ian, can you do anything to stop this? The double ADC looking to shut him down. Max comes back up, but the turrets are melting, and Griffin, they might have just done it. Kite back for the moment, now looking for Max. They lock him in yet again with a tether. Nexus is exposed. Viper jumping to the side, finds the final kill, gets another one. The double comes in as Beyond respawns, but it's just to see the Nexus crumble, and Griffin have done it. The 3-1 victory comes through. They delay MVP's hopes of making it back into the LCK, but they themselves have qualified for the summer split.
Welcome to the LCK. For the first time, Griffin, 5 new players and their greatest squad will move on to LCK Summer 2018. And already people will say, where do they fall on the power ranking? We are no closer to knowing, but remember that MVP actually represents the strongest team wins-wise to ever enter the relegation tournament. They were 6-10 in the LCK. They were not no-hopers like Kongdu Monster. They were very much a threat to right at the end of the season. So for Griffin to come in, their sky is the limit. These players are so promising. Cool to see Tarzan and friends swing their way into LCK Summer 2018. And for MVP, it's going to be an LCK affair in the last best of 5 as they face Kongdu Monster on Sunday.
Wonderfully done. MVP. Hopes not extinguished yet. There still is a fire burning for this team, for them to get back into the summer split. Just one more best of 5 against Kongdu Monster standing in their way. They've shown promise here today. The last 3 games, lackluster. They can go back, they can review that before their matches. But game 1, clearly, there was some magic there.
And they come in heavy favorites against Kongdu as a result, and just because of Kongdu's struggles. But let's take a moment for the side of Griffin to remember, they have won 16 series in a row. They have not lost a single series in 2018 with this lineup. Viper will make it to the LCK the first time he is eligible. The other players built in solo queue. Lehens and Tarzan, 2 big names to a lot of fans. The support Singe, the support Elise, the Singe God, he makes it. We're going to watch the highlights of this game.
It didn't start off very well.
It did not, and Beyond was forced out, well out jungled over the course of 4 games. They're blown down, and we will have a team interview with Griffin after the highlights to welcome them in to LCK Summer 2018.
Yeah, another one trying to go for the gank, but Lehens manages to stay alive. There's just so many moments where MVP were so close, but they fell short at the finish line. Couldn't get the objective, couldn't get the kill. But Griffin, yet again, they bring forward the Kaisa, and they find success.
Felt like an inevitability when the Kai'Sa had so many damage items. Rather had been able to get there as the Karma. I feel like this play could have gone differently. Couple of times they were punished around bot side. That time ADD got out, so it wasn't the ultra punishment, but the second time bot lane, that ended up being the important one. We're hitting all the replays this time, giving time to set up for the team interview. We don't have MVPs and other business to get to, so we get a long replay here. If you missed the game, going to be plenty of action towards the back end, but a lot of it to me was around the bot side, and this was the one where they went super deep MVP, but didn't have an exit strategy when Radha showed up.
Yeah, just doing the job for the like the LoL Esports highlights, YouTube channels that we have. They can just take this entire clip and upload it directly, I suppose. But man, Max, he tried to go for the Alistar. He got the takeaway from Lehens, but just could not play it nearly as cleanly. He was always getting focused down. Doesn't matter if the ult's available. There's plenty of CC here available for Griffin.
Turns out damage reduction, 50%, 60% on a Bajillion is still a lot of Kilios. He still dies. There's a little cheer from the crowd. A couple of cheers as Griffin started to take their positions on the stage here. Make their OGN LCK debut in summer season. Get to talk about it today. Nice flash poll from Max, but the moment that you saw Viper with shields, you knew it wasn't going to matter. They cleaned this one up. Sword couldn't quite get the 5-man Gnar that was threatened, but in this passage of play, Griffin qualifies for LCK.
Gotta be feeling pretty good about it, so looking forward to their first interview here on the LCK stage with Dangun, with Cloud Templar. Get their thoughts and feelings on the match, because I imagine they have to be pretty elated here at the moment. Viper especially played out of his mind with that Kai'Sa.
I'm ready to see this cool logo in LCK Summer 2018. Today the bus driver was Viper. It was Lehens a couple of days ago. We know they have other stars on the lineup. They are not a one-trick team. They've got different tricks, and they were able to go early game with the Talon to the ecstasy of many of the viewers in game number 2. Griffin are definitely a formidable squad. An MVP on the day, just not good enough.
No, they're not. Back to the drawing board for them. Again, down but not out yet. Hongdu Monster, the only thing that stands in their way of making it back into the LCK, and they certainly could have a much more formidable opponent.
But with that, it might be time, Achilleos, to throw it over to a man who's also been off the stage for a little while.
That's true. Somebody we haven't heard from in quite some time. So, Joel, can you take it away on Discord with the translation?
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel. Back with the translations once again for the promotions. We do have the first name for a new team that will join us in the LCK Summer, and it's going to be Griffin. And I'm going to be talking with them to see how they feel about the victory they had. I mean, right now, the coach is getting the biggest applause right now. And now you are finally in the LCK. How do you feel about that right now? I'm so happy. I mean, I'm really just happy. And there's nothing else I can say about this. You know, I feel like I finally reached my extent of happiness right now. Big applause to the coach who has worked so hard to get here.
It's CV Max, by the way, LCK player.
You know, but before this Griffin's game did take place, there was a lot of high expectations for this team. Kind of looking at as the favorite to go in. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of pressure at the beginning, but when we did lose the first game, we felt like, you know, we could just throw away this chance once again. So, you know, we felt the kind of the pressure going into the next ones. And it just seems like, you know, you never faced a defeat before. You just don't know what that feels like. And you did face one today against MVP, but how do you feel about the games that followed after that? You know, as soon as we just got the finalized call that we made it to the LCK, we just told the players that we made it, and that's all that is to it. And of course, as the head coach, you do have to go up against the top teams in the LCK next season. And I think it's more of a kind of nervous in a good way, because, you know, I'm excited to see, you know, what the other teams are made of when we, as a good team, can face off against them. And many people do see your feedbacks as a little bit unique compared to others. And I'm sure that, you know, the loss being kind of a unique feeling in itself for the Griffin squad. How do you feel about that? Yeah, after game 1, after we did lose, we talked about the kind of the internal issues that could have affected, how the game had gone against our way. We just had to make sure that we set a direction and strategy so that we could be satisfied with the next games ahead. But I felt like game 1 was a game that we definitely could have won, but little details here missed. Those are things that kind of got us away from them. And right now, let's talk about the players here. And you guys want to introduce yourself here? Griffin's top laner, Sword. You're finally here with the win again, but now here at the LCK. I mean, LCK is the best league in the world, and but as a player myself, as an individual, to be a part of this league, it just feels like now I'm part of the kind of the big dogs now. I'm kind of part of the big league player now. Do you feel like you're gonna be confident going to this LCK league here? I feel like if I get the picks that I want, there's no fear that I can lose against any top laner in LCK right now. You talk about the coach being a former top laner, and whenever you do bad on the top lane, you probably get the biggest feedback of all. You don't have a substitute for a top laner, so. But whenever we do the scrim, I feel like he told me that whenever I do bad, your position, even if we don't have a sub, it will be taken away one way or the other. So a lot of threats going my way as well, so I have to be a little careful. But I think our Griffin organization is all about these dry humor that we always do with each other, and you guys might have to get used to this one. And Tarzan was kind of enjoying this moment right here as he was doing the interview with Sword. From Griffin's jungler, Tarzan. The king of jungle has been kind of praised by the fans here at LCK. And today, just another splendid performance throughout the series. Just feels like you're the kind of the top contributor into getting the win once again for Griffin. How do you feel about the wins today? And with today's matches, and the first game was a little tough on us. We tried to get the feedback right away after we did get that loss and try to focus on the next ones ahead. We felt like we still had the confidence going forward, so we weren't too worried. And as an analyst, I always talk about what this Griffin squad might represent here, but did you feel like a win today against MVP was kind of an obvious result that you expected? I felt like if we just play our usual ways, I felt like losing against this team would have been a difficult task to kind of have. So that's a lot of confidence coming from the second division team here, making it difficult to lose against the former first division team. But gonna go on to the next player here. The mid liner, rather here for Griffin. Talon was an absolute surprise by us. When we saw you pick it out just in a heartbeat. What was kind of the practice regime leading up to this pick today? I always kind of enjoyed Talon just for fun, but yesterday, before the match began, it just seems like the mid champion pool is so shallow nowadays, and there's just nothing left to play anymore. But I felt like I tried to look at Talon and try a couple of games with it. I thought it was okay, so it was worth kind of a play here today. And coach, you want to back him up on the strength of that pick? I try to let the players be a little more flexible in the champions they want to play in their respective lanes. So as long as they play well, I'm not too worried. But I just felt like, you know, the composition was there to this time around, and today it was an appropriate day for you to use the talent here. And you are just another mid laner in the LCK. How do you feel about that? I know that LCK is full of kind of legendary mid laners, and it's something that I have to prepare for and to thoroughly be ready to face up against them. I'll just try to build up my confidence to face up against them. I have to ask one more thing. Why do you read so many books is another question of ours. It just feels like you're the kind of the librarian king with you right here. You're always reading books. You know, the Magi, it's an entertaining book to read, and but you know, whenever I do get a lead, which I usually do, so there's not really a reason to start reading and enjoying the literature of what the power gives us. And of course, probably the real purpose is the confidence that you do have. And we have to go to the next player here, as we do see another player here. Griffin's ADC, Viper.
Big cheer for that one, understandably.
Every single game you came out with the Kai'Sa. Do you feel like your confidence on the Kai'Sa is on another level here? It just feels like, you know, the laning phase, as long as you can survive it, you end up gonna be being stronger than the opposite ADC. And I feel like, you know, me using the Kai'Sa makes it stronger as well. And people did say that Viper was definitely just a prodigy that people should be looking out for, you know, ever since your second division days. How'd you feel about those kind of reactions coming your way? Yeah, before I did the scrims, I did have a little bit of fear coming in. But I feel like, you know, I faced another LCK team, and I feel like that fear should not be anymore, and I can just feel a little more confident about my matchups. And right now, if you can score your performance out of 100, how would you score yourself today? Think about 85 would be adequate here. Losing the first game kind of partly due to me not having a good lane kind of takes away that 15 points. We do have the feedbacks that will be thorough before you guys do enter the LCK. I'm sure you were looking at the score 2 out of 100 for Viper. You know, I was already looking at, just kind of thinking back to where he died, so that's kind of the only thing I remember. And let's go to the hands here. I am now an LCK player in support for Griffin. Hands. Definitely feels a little bit more excitement now that he is an LCK player indeed. How do you feel on being in the LCK now? I was really nervous going into this one, and after losing the first one, it just feels like, you know, all the tears were going to come out and I was going to lose it all emotionally, and it just feels like, you know, my teammates were so good at, you know, keeping me through and keeping our teams through, and we were really positive even through the losses. And whenever I do get the feedbacks from the coach, I was getting stressed quite a bit. So, but I felt like, you know, I was trying to stay alive at the red, but I thought of the coach as if I made a mistake again, I would get another stressing feedback. So I made sure I didn't make the mistake there. What kind of a feedback do you get from the coach? I do make some mistakes, but he does make it thorough with the feedbacks whenever I do make little mistakes here and there. Does it make it scary and maybe something you want to avoid as players for the feedbacks coming from the coach? You know, our coach prioritizes efficiency, but whenever we don't realize our wrongdoings, he makes sure that we realize our wrongdoings, and he never really passes on any situation, and anything that is efficient enough to improve our team, he will make sure that gets through. Coach, I mean, you're having a hard time listening to all these feedbacks coming from your players here, saying that you're kind of a nagger here and there. I feel like feedback should be kind of bi-directional. It just feels like, whenever I do provide feedbacks to the players should provide feedback to me as well. But whenever I do provide the feedbacks, I do get a little harsh on the way I express my opinions on certain situations. But I do thank the players for always kind of enduring all of that harsh feedbacks and comments. And I think that's what makes them the best team right now that we know. And I heard that, all the parents of all the players here of Griffin are here to watch the games live. Lehans, you want to say anything to your parents right now? I want to tell my parents and family to thank you for coming out. And we just always appreciate your support and the kind, appreciating words. Those are things that get us through the struggles in here and there. I'm sure that the win today becomes more meaningful with family joining in the celebration here. But we are here with Griffin, who will join us in the LCK in the upcoming season. But Coach, any last words you want to say and kind of your expectations going into LCK Summer? We do have high expectations for us even in the LCK. We're not about a team that just came from the second division trying to do mediocre result-wise. But with the players, we have so many talented players here. It just feels like, these players are very characteristically very charming, just outside the game as well. So from a personal level, I'm sure you guys will learn to enjoy each of these players and each of the charm that they would bring to the LCK here.
갑자기 토크에 대한 욕심을요? 게임에 대한 욕심은 없습니까? 게임에 대한 욕심은 이미 베이스로 깔아.
I feel like our gameplay will be sufficient, but I want these guys to have a little more opportunities to kind of express their opinions outside the game as well. And that has been the coach, along with all the players coming from Griffin, who will now join us in the next season of LCK Summer. And that has been the end of the interview here. I'm going to throw it back to you guys for the rest of the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Joel. Good to be back and good to have you there translating alongside us. The result here on the day, a 3-1 victory for Griffin to seal the deal and get themselves a spot in the LCK Summer Split.
And I got to smile, Achille. Seeing 7 rookies coming through on the squad. It's the best fire sign that League of Legends in Korea is still vibrant, is that every year we have players stepping up, rookies debuting, players that have been around a little bit becoming stars, and Griffin is shooting for the top Achilles. They talk a big game. Game 1, egg on the face. The next 3 games, we're all about Griffin. They will be in the LCK. That means the final day of action here in Korea before MSI till LCK Summer 2018. Will be MVP versus Kongdu Monster. There can only be one. Only one LCK team will keep their spot. MVP versus Kongdu, and I'm already thinking further forward. There will be a relegation promotion tournament after the summer season for 2019, and there has to be 2 teams fighting in there. The power level of our 9th place team, will it be Griffin or MVP again? Who will still be around?
Maybe BBQ.
Somehow this competitive league is just getting more competitive.
Well, Griffin, a fantastic addition. Welcome to the LCK. Looking forward to casting you guys down the line when the summer split does roll around. But that's it for me for the promotion tournament. Max will be back with Papa Smithy on Sunday to close out the rest and figure out who it's going to be, Kongdu or MVP. No one knows. We'll find out together when we come back for that in just a couple days.